Jonathan, tell me about the Kickstarter campaign that you did.
Early on when we were starting up, I knew that we would be short a little bit in our funds to get the doors open. And so I knew of Kickstarter and thought that maybe it was a possibility that we could use that to contribute at least part of the startup funds for us. It was something that I didn't know anybody personally who had done a Kickstarter campaign, so I had to do all the research beforehand.
Yeah.
And I looked at other similar campaigns people had done for coffee businesses, for restaurants, for beer breweries, and then ended up forming our campaign, setting it all up, and again, I did all that myself, and was able to launch a campaign that ended up doing a lot more for the shop than I had originally intended.
In funding or what?
Well, in funding and in publicity.
And
so
funding and publicity.
Funding-wise, I set an arbitrary goal of $15,000. I had seen other similar sized businesses had done around that much, from $10,000 to $15,000. And so I thought, hey, high end 15, and ended up it was way undershooting. So we funded 50% within 24 hours, 100% within 7 days.
Get out of here.
Ended up funding at around 144%, I believe. We ended up raising $21,700 on Kickstarter.
In what time frame?
This is in a 30-day campaign.
30-day
1 month.
campaign.
Yes.
You got $21,000 plus.
Yes.
Out of Kickstarter funding.
Yeah, and it was something that I thought maybe it would get the word out a little bit too, and it ended up doing in a huge way through our Kickstarter campaign. And because people knew about that, Creative Loafing, local newspaper,
sure.
Ran an article about us and featured that, and featured the campaign, and featured our business. People got on board, and neighbors told their friends, and
sure.
and they told people outside of Atlanta, and they said, we want this to happen, help us get on board and supporting this. So it was a really huge initial publicity push.
It brought you money and it brought you customers.
Definitely. And I don't think that's everyone's experience. I think it was our experience, because I did my homework and was able to follow the basic rules of a successful campaign on Kickstarter, and then leveraging my network of connections of friends and family and people I had worked with in the past in order to have a successful campaign.
It's an important thing that you just said. You just didn't slap it on the wall. Mm-hmm. You looked at it. You looked at how people were successful. Probably looked at how people were not successful in running these campaigns, right?
Oh, definitely.
And you picked up good practices from people that were successful in getting both customers and money, three, customers, money, and publicity.
Yeah.
And the publicity you didn't have to pay for.
At all. And I think we're still reaping benefits from that. Sure. On Kickstarter, if you have a successful campaign, your video stays up there, your page remains active. If you don't have a successful campaign, then they close it down. But people are still able to view our initial video where they show me in an empty shop, and they show my family, and it tells the story of what Taproom was from an idea to reality. And it's really cool to be able to have that still kind of memorialized on the internet, and anyone looking to open a coffee shop, if they're searching for it, if they're searching that in connection with Kickstarter, they find Taproom.
Good for you. One other thing, how do you find, what other ideas? Do you go look at other coffee shops or something similar to you and get ideas from them of do I have more products, more this, more that, different placement of where products are, mm-hmm. different way that you make your shop look?
Yeah, I think it is always important to stay active, with your finger on the pulse of the industry, yeah. Whatever that industry is. For me, it's coffee and beer. So I have to stay up and reading news articles, seeing what's the latest with the trends, actually going and physically visiting other coffee shops in Atlanta and elsewhere. Anytime I travel, I try to visit at least one new coffee shop. Same thing with beer and beer breweries, and knowing what's going on in the beer industry, the beer world. I can't continue to run my place without knowing what the new things are, and knowing what customers are going to expect. If there's a new fad of putting say, butter in coffee. I need to know about it and know whether or not it's something I need to offer, or if it's something I need to at least be able to have the knowledge of and respond to in conversation over the counter. And so all of these things, I have that desire, and the way that I stay up to date with it is a lot of online, looking at news articles, looking at blogs, looking at social media accounts. So even on my own personal social media or the shop's social media, I have a feed of other Instagram accounts from other coffee shops and beer bars, and if it looks like a lot of people are doing things successfully, then I'll consider doing that in our shop, or consider doing that at least as a single post that I put on social media.
When do you open in the morning?
We open at 7 a.m.
7 a.m.?
Yes.
And what's your biggest revenue hour during the day?
It is that late morning, probably 9 to 12 about is when we do our bulk of our business. Right. Yes. So we had our early morning people going into work. We have sustained throughout the morning that crowd of people grabbing coffee, going to work, going to do other things, and then also around that time, people coming in and using our coffee shop to work from, work as their office, and then that trend peters out to the late afternoon.
What percentage of your customers buy the product and leave?
It is something that I don't track, actually. So I don't have a button in the system that tells me if it's to go or to stay.
What is your instinct?
My instinct is maybe half and half.
About half.
And possibly leaning towards more carry out to go orders than staying in.
People that stay, will they more likely buy a second cup of coffee or a second craft beer or something to go along with it?
Yes, and that's particularly true for the people who are using it as their office. So one of the good things we've been able to set up through our point of sale system is opening tabs and having an open check. That enables people to say, oh yeah, I can do that, I'll leave my card with you and I'll add something to it later. And again, because we do have the coffee transitioning to the beer and wine, people take advantage of that, and they start off the day with a couple coffees, and then they go on to having a glass of beer and wine later.
Now, Starbucks, you can buy a $25 or $50 card, right?
Yes.
Do you have anything like that?
Oh, yeah, we have to have gift card capability.
You have gift cards?
Yeah, and if we don't have it, we would be, kind of have negative points for us.
So you
for
do
that.
have gift cards?
Yes, we do have gift cards.
And so people buy the gift card?
All the time. And we, I utilize that in different marketing pushes.
But isn't that a good cash flow for you?
Oh, it's great.
It's great.
It's the money now, and
as we know, there's breakage in the gift cards, right? For all of us. I buy gift cards all the time, and many of the time I don't cash out 100% of it.
Yeah, and it's not my intention to steal money from a customer, but it is a reality that gift cards do great for cash flow.
Yeah.
And in my business where I am looking towards that sales level increasing over time, I know that it helps me be a little more secure if I can get that money now and then retain that customer loyalty in the long run.
It's great to be an entrepreneur. It's great to be in charge of your, and in America we can do that like no other place in the world. And you can start up and do what Jonathan has done. So I hope you've enjoyed the story of Jonathan Pascual, as he, again, one more time, tell us the name of your business.
The business is Taproom Coffee. It's located in the Kirkwood neighborhood of Atlanta.
Kirkwood neighborhood of Atlanta.
And you can visit at taproomcoffee.com or at Taproom Coffee on social media.
Good to have you with us. Thanks.
Thank you very much, man.